Ah, my good and dear friends. This is Londo Molare, and I'm watching the Bad News Bards. By the way, I hear the Psy Corps is looking for you. I would hate very much if they found you.
Well, hello there, Dean
Hello, indeed.
and Cam.
Good evening.
We have a very special guest this evening.
Oh, do we?
We do indeed. I can't wait. I'm really excited. Anything to report? I got a couple of things. I'm still waiting to hear from two people. Two people from last Sunday's stream where we did the giveaway stuff. But everything else, I bought a scale. I got an account set up to do shipping and all that stuff. Some of the stuff's already stamped and out. More to come. So, any rate, I do not want to keep our guest waiting because he does have some time restrictions. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him on. Good evening, Professor Dungeon Master. How are you doing this evening?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks
It
for
is
coming.
our pleasure. Absolutely. I think Cam warned you. He likes to start off with a icebreaker question. So we'll go ahead and toss it to him to ask his standard question that I'm sure you're going to love to give the answer to. So
Yeah, even Luke Gygax was asked this question, but not by me.
he was. I did. I asked
Yes.
Luke Gygax the same question on Cam's behalf.
Well, we'd like to hear how you first got started in role playing, and we know you've got kind of a long history, including some writing, for Dungeon Magazine, things like that, and other things. So you can include any of that you like, but we like to start out with how you first got your feet wet with role playing.
It was the day after Christmas, 1981. It was December 26, 1981. And my friend Joey, who was an only child, he got everything he wanted for Christmas. I had three sisters, so I got like three things. And Joey always got more gifts. And one of the gifts he got was the Tom Maldvay 1980-81 Magenta B Basic Dungeons and Dragons set. And he invited me over to have hot chocolate and roll up some characters. And he hadn't read the book, so we struggled to make up these characters. Instead of rolling 3d6 for ability scores, we rolled a d20. It was very confusing because I was 10 years old and he was 2. He was 12. He was 12. He was 12. He was 2 years older than me. And so I was like the little tag-along kid in the neighborhood. Like if the big kids had no other big kids to hang out, they would invite me, but otherwise I'd be left out. And I was fascinated. I was fascinated with this game, and Joey let me borrow it because he didn't want to be bothered reading the rule book. And so I read it in like 2 days, and I said to him, this is the greatest game of all time. It is mind-blowing. Like I just blew my mind. No board, and And then I said, we got to play this game. And he said, well, that's kind of a thing you do for on a rainy day. Because he was into baseball and stuff. P.S. The rainy day never came. And so I never played with the older kids. I had to round up the younger kids in the neighborhood and get them to play. And that was the only way we could play Dungeons and Dragons. And I became the dungeon master. And that is how I got involved with role-playing games. And I saw Joey a couple of years ago, right? He's from my old neighborhood. And I did see him. But that reading that book, him not reading and doing his homework, him not doing his homework is what led to me being who I am today.
Wow,
Very
that's
cool.
that's pretty awesome. Yeah, so you were the tag-along kid, and everybody else, you were the and no, don't bother me, kid, and you're like, no, man, we got to play this. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a challenge to find people to play. And trying to recruit younger kids and such, and trying to explain it to them, was challenging for me. But it sounds like you succeeded pretty well for the last 40 or so years. So good news.
One of them still plays with me. One of those kids still
Wow.
plays with me.
That's
That's
awesome.
amazing.
That's awesome.
Just briefly, kind of follow up. Did you? So that was, of course, BX. Did you continue? Did you go into playing a lot of first edition, or did you stick with BX or your own stuff, or how did that progress? I know you went into and picked up third edition at some point, because I recall you talking about how you thought that was really cool. But
I got the first edition books for my 14th birthday. I had a birthday party. I finally had enough friends to have a birthday party, and they were local kids as well as the kids from school. And somebody gave me the player's handbook, and that just opened up whole new, dimensions of things. You mean you could be an elven fighter and not just, or an elven thief? And that opened up whole new vistas. And then my friends all switched to first edition. But I always, after playing for a while, I actually preferred BX because it was much faster.
Yeah.
and so, well, that probably is going to come up later when we ask you about your current play style and such. And again, people who have watched your channel, Dungeoncraft, are familiar that you like to keep things moving. You like it streamlined and a lot of action and not a lot of looking up rules and such. So, well, I guess we can move right into what you've got coming up, which is your very own Deathbringer game. Jeff, you want to bring that up?
Yeah. Let me see here. Oh, here, let me change it so that it's on the right-hand side, so it gets the big picture. And you can go to deathbringer.com right now, and that actually directs you to the Kickstart, or the Backerkit.
It's so
I knew
easy.
I was going to mess that up. I'm sorry.
We all do.
The crowdfunding page, Backerkit page. So it looks like it's down to 1 day, 12 hours, and 51 minutes. So getting nervous?
Absolutely. I'm scared. I'm scared poopless right now.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Because if as I said before we came on, I quit my job. I quit my job to support this game. So in just 1 day and 12 hours, we'll find out if that was the dumbest decision I've ever made in my life.
Well, you currently have, let's see, how many people? There's almost 8,700 people currently that have a spot. So I think you've got a pretty good shot at making a go of this. I have a feeling that you're going to reach your goal. What is your funding goal on that?
Well, I don't want to jinx it.
Oh, you don't want? Okay.
I don't want to jinx it
until it goes live.
Yeah, even then, who knows? Even though I have no idea.
It's a bit of a leap of faith, isn't it? You just hope. You just hope you're going to do well, and people will love what you've done.
It was such a leap of faith. I was actually in church today praying, "Oh God, Oh God, what did I do?
What have I done? What have I done? Well, I mean,
Mm.
you've got some awesome dice that for people that if they get in the next basic 24 hours, right? They
If
have
you're
to.
a patron, if you're one of my patrons, there is a special set of dice which resembles kind of the old worn down dice that I
Mhm.
played with in that basic set. You know, like you would roll them and the edges would break off, and the 20-sided die would wear down into a circle.
Sure.
And it looks like that, but it's made out of premium materials. So
Right.
that is for patrons only.
Mhm.
And then I think if you sign up, you get the limited edition skull dice.
Right. That's
So
the
there's a
ones I
lot
was
of different,
talking about.
there's a lot of different dice.
So I want all the dice. So I am a diceaholic. Hi, my name is Jeff, and I have a problem. um, but the school dice look really really awesome. I presume that you've already seen some of these. Probably have a prototype set of them. Um, I'm looking forward to getting that and adding those to my collection. Now those are all D6s, right? So
The
just
Deathbringer dice.
the
The
Deathbringer dice,
Deathbringer dice the skull dices are D6s.
right? Okay, and then the other set, if you're a Patreon, the other set is a regular set,
Full set.
seven dice set or whatever, I presume. Yeah. Um, so what tell us a little bit about some of the inspiration for Deathbringer. What I mean, you've had this for years. I know I've seen you talk about it for a long time. I'm seeing a lot of classes and stuff like that mentioned on the page, which if anybody follows follows the QR code or goes to the website, they can read about it. Battle Nun, Bounty Hunter, of course, Deathbringer. And I noticed there's a lady Deathbringer. I don't know if she has a
Yeah,
name.
female Deathbringers are called Death Brides.
Ah, okay.
Mm.
Doomscribe, Fighter. I should probably show this. Let me share that picture here so people can get an idea of what we're talking about here.
Yeah, there's the Witch Hunter,
Mm.
Bounty Hunter, Battle Nun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration for these?
Definitely 3 inspirations. We got Savage Sword of Conan, Heavy Metal
Mhm.
Magazine, and Thundar the Barbarian. It's all
Okay.
the stuff that I loved. And that particular picture of the wizard, my instructions to the artist was make her look like Sybil Danning in Hercules. I don't know if you remember Hercules with Lou Ferrigno. Terrible film,
Mm.
but Sybil Danning is fantastic. As her was her costume designer.
Yeah.
And
Um,
I just love that kind of 80s stuff. I love that 80s stuff. And like I said, Heavy Metal Magazine, Savage Sword of Conan, that is what I read as a kid. I wanted to play Dungeons & Dragons so I could recreate that kind of stuff. And modern D&D has moved in a different direction. Let's just say that.
uh,
So
Fair enough.
it's to remake D&D the way I would want it, to read it and play it.
Very much. Yeah. Of course, we've got Deathbringer up there, and then the Doomscribe. And you definitely are not shying away from Bikini Male,
Mhm.
which I think a lot of the those of us in the OSR community appreciate. And the Plague Doctor, of course, I think is a particularly fun one. He's kind of what cross between an alchemist and he's not really a. So you don't really. I was reading. You don't really like the concept of clerics per se. Is that accurate?
That is true. Clerics are not a sword and sorcery thing. They're
Right.
not even a Lord of the Rings high fantasy thing. They are a completely D&D thing that
Yeah.
was invented to restore hit points. And, like anything escalates to the point where now they can restore everybody's hit points and cast Healing Word and spare the dying as a bonus action so nobody ever dies. And so the first thing I want to do is get back to Sword and Sorcery. We are eliminating the cleric because hit points are a timer.
Right.
And when those hit points go lower, the tension rises. But if you always restore the hit points after every encounter, the tension never goes down. And it becomes a bean counting game. And I don't want to play a bean counting game. I want to play a game where it gets more and more tense, like a sled going downhill till you're just reaching terminal velocity. And that final
Right.
encounter, your hit points are down. You only have a certain number of moves. You only have a certain number of Deathbringer dice. Are you going to make it? That is why I play role-playing games. And so that's what I wanted to capture in my game.
And you've there's the Witch Hunter. I love the Witch Hunter. That's an awesome concept. And there's some internal conflict I was reading that might occur between the different archetypes that you have in the game, but that's by design, right? There's supposed to be there should be something that kind of keeps things a little tense or a little tension in the party.
Tension is always good. Now, I don't want player versus player combat, but the witch hunters hate doom scribes. They get bonuses to resist spells and to attack spellcasters, and they will do it on sight. The doom scribes obviously hate the witch hunters,
Right.
So the battle nuns don't really trust doom scribes either. So yeah, you have a lot of tension. Bounty hunters, they hunt down criminals.
Right.
Well, a thief is a criminal, right? So there's tension there too. I just find that's more interesting than a world where everybody gets along. And I think Tolkien knew that too. That's why Legolas and Gimli don't get along at first. And they learn to get along.
Sure.
And that's the hobbits and the dwarves. Bilbo doesn't get along with Thorin and the dwarves at first. But he learns to get along. That's cool.
Yeah, we have some comments in the stream here that I've been trying to go through. First up, our buddy Dying Breed Tabletop. He says, I've been following Professor DM since the early days of his channel. He wants to know about how you TPK'd a bunch of children at a birthday party.
It was my friend Kerry, who was the reason that I started the channel. She's the one that encouraged me. She was a fellow teacher at my school. Mm-hmm. And I had bought her kids the starter set, the D&D starter set, and she invited me over. Her son wanted to play for his birthday, so I go over there. And we made up characters with these kids. They're all about 10 years old. And the first room they went through the first room. And I think by the second room, they decided to split the party.
Uh-oh.
And a carrion crawler ate him, and then some orcs swarmed him. And then I said, okay, well, you're all dead. So cross out your character's name.
Yeah.
And write two next to their name. And then I said, so flash forward 10 years. You're entering the cave in which all your fathers disappeared 10 years ago. And you immediately became, they immediately became the sons. And that was cool. And it functioned, as like a little, pre-credit sequence.
Sure. Yeah. Or a funnel.
or a funnel. And there's this assumption, I work with kids a lot in high school, and I work with intermediate schoolers. And for my own kids and the kids in the neighborhood, they're 8, 9, 10 years old. And there's this assumption that we got to be careful with these kids, that they're fragile, and they might be traumatized if their characters die. And the truth is that if you play with children, what children are really like they are the perpetrators of the most horrific war crimes. They don't just kill the monsters. They chop off their ears and turn them into necklaces. It's like Apocalypse Now. These kids. I mean, like, they're nuts. And I don't know. People, they just don't.
Yeah, they're trying to protect them. And really, so a buddy of ours, Flint Fireforge, is what he goes by on his channel. He did that for like the Boys and Girls Club. He ran different sessions at different ones for the kids, and he says these preteen girls are like the most vicious of all of them. They are just like backstabbing, you name it, whatever. They literally, oh look, I'm going to throw my fellow player. I'm throwing their character towards this creature. you know, and it's like I'm like, wow, I didn't think about it, but we were kind of that way as kids too. I mean, we were a lot of us started early on, and we were just like we didn't care.
So they'd love Deathbringer, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Ryan Nikolai says he's been following you for a while. Excited to see this to come to fruition. So you've got a lot of support out here. Patty's Parlor, wishing you the best, PDM. I think you're going to do great. I agree with that sentiment. Dying Breed, he says he said good luck. He's got to run, but he's going to catch the replay. So he's a good friend of ours. Go ahead, Cam.
I just had a quick question. So you've been obviously working on this for a while, and you had kind of the brief version out on drive-through for a while, and that one you described as a kind of a kit to drop into other games, and you mentioned 5e and Shadow Dark, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, are you a little more focused towards the OSR and Shadow Dark, or is the 5e thing still here, and is this kind of what you're going to be launching in a couple of days? More fully standalone, or is it still linked with other games like Shadow Dark?
Great question. It is Deathbringer is its own standalone game.
Okay.
It is built on Shadow Dark, so we use the Shadow Dark stat blocks, for example, and then we use the Shadow Dark, the hit points and the damage all aligns. So you don't need Shadow Dark, but if you have Shadow Dark, you could use Deathbringer too. And Shadow Dark is aligned with 5e. Mike Merles, who's the lead designer of 5e, calls Shadow Dark 5e without all the crap.
Yeah.
And that's his words. So my feeling is that these games, they're all Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons is not a game, it's a language. And these are just different dialects of the language, right? Because, if you know a dialect of Spanish, you'll be able to get along in a Spanish-speaking country in South America, right? If you know how to play Dungeons & Dragons, you're going to look at a character sheet. You know how to play Pathfinder and Dungeon Crawl Classics and Shadow Dark. It's all one game. There's only the minutiae is really different, like the scaling of the hit points and the scaling of the damage. That kind of stuff is different. But all the rest of the stuff is the same, and I wanted to make sure that Deathbringer was compatible with both old school games and Shadow Dark, so you could use any of that stuff, because I don't want to reinvent the wheel, and I don't want to make people choose between Shadow Dark and old school Essentials and Deathbringer, and it's like it's all going to work together.
Sure.
Right. I would, which that brings up a thought that I was wondering about. Are there two? So I've seen two different covers. So what's the deal with the two different covers? Is the black and white? Is there any difference, or just one's a hardcover, or what's the deal?
Good question. I wish I had an answer for that. That's a publisher question.
Is that a question for the guys at Roll for Combat?
It's a question for Roll for Combat. We're going to be. They're probably testing the different color covers to see which people like better. I mean, I'm looking at that one now. That looks badass. I've never seen it before.
Yeah. That's the one that's on your pre-launch page. So it's right here.
To give you a little insight at like what my life is like, I woke up at about 5 or 6 in the morning, and I made 2 videos. I completed them at about 2 o'clock. I went to the store. I had to get some avocados. On the way back in the car, I'm having meetings about Gen Con.
Yeah.
And I got home, and I immediately started answering email for Deathbringer and writing the episode which will air on Tuesday, that I haven't taped yet, that I'll probably tape tomorrow, whatever day that is. Is it Monday? Is
Yes,
tomorrow
Monday.
it's Monday.
Okay.
Mm.
And like, and I'm on your show because I don't say no to shows. You know, like
Oh.
if you want to promote my game, God bless you, and I will show up. So I have no idea about like about like what is, you know, what art they've released and stuff like that. I've seen art that isn't, you know, available to public,
Sure.
but that looks really cool.
Yeah, it's an awesome cover. I hope they go with that. Um, I'll tell you, a lot of times people will offer a hardcover, and then they might offer a soft cover version too, and then they may have a tier where you can be crazy and you order everything, and you know, and that's probably what I'll do.
I'm guessing the
Thank you.
Lady
Thank you,
Deathbringer
my
cover
friend.
might be a popular one if they offer it.
The other cover. Let me see if I can find it on here. I don't know if it's in here or not. Sorry if I'm making anybody dizzy here. Nope, it's not on that one. The black and white cover, it very much thematically fits in with the Shadow Dark style.
Yeah.
The full cover, and as you can see right now, this one is a different cover. I think I like the one that I have up there right now on the with the QR code. That's, I think, my favorite one. The other one is the one where he's just standing stoically, you know, with his axe in hand and all that. But I think that, you know, either way, if they offer different covers, and there's a tier to get both, I can guarantee you people will get both. You know, we're crazy like that.
I hope so.
And one big question, speaking about the crazy level of going all in on a backer kit, is this going to be at is the pay in four going to be available? Do you know if that option is turned on, or is that an RFC question as well?
That
Are
is
they
a roll for combat question as well. They do the tiers.
They did. Okay, so I'm sure that you know, they've done. I love. I'm still waiting for the their Shadow Dark set to come out. I know I follow their updates pretty well, but I went all in on that stuff, so I'm sure I'll go all in on this one as well. Dean.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sure you've got a couple of questions you'd like.
Oh,
to ask
I've
Professor.
got quite a few, but we're going to start. I mean, you've got a mock-up of the book there, and it looks a very impressive book. So when that book arrives, I know there's 8 classes, and they sound really fascinating classes, a very different take on things, apart from the fighter and the thief, which you've kind of left pretty standard. But what else do you get in that book? What kind of gear, magic items, spells? What would we expect when we open that book and begin to go through it?
The magic items and spells are all terrifying. In this game, you wouldn't want a magic item. They're there, but you don't want them. They're all cursed.
Oh no.
They're all cursed, and it's just so over the top. Everything is like, there is no top with Deathbringer. And so there's not just a fireball. There's a version of fireball called thermonuclear fireball. And it causes something like D1000 D6 damage. And you save for half.
Wow.
But the range is only about 30 feet.
And what's the area?
The area is a 1 mile square radius.
Yes.
What's the cubic volume there involved in that?
So
Well-
you're going to get a lot of spells that you're going to read them and be like, oh my God. You know, they're the most, like, everything that Shadow Dark has, this has, but just turned up to 11. So the critical spell failure chart. This critical spell failure chart has things like you when you roll a 1, all the crops within a 1 mile square radius just die.
Oh,
Oh wow.
Or all of the fetuses within a 1 mile square radius just shrivel in the womb.
oh,
Brutal.
And it really all connects with the air is just poisonous. And
you can see why you got witch hunters.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, because they are going after these casters who are devastating the land.
yeah, it's like Dark Sun, but just way worse. Way worse. And so you're going to get great, hilarious names of places you'd never want to go in real life, like Cankermouth, Murderheim, Pittsburgh. Like these are what
Oh, I like Pittsburgh.
Yeah. These are what all of the all of the places sound like. So it's like Shadow Dark, but just darker.
So if Grimdark's your cup of tea, this is really going to be. This is a whole meal, not just a cup of tea in front of you.
Yes. Yeah, that would be a good analogy. It's going to make Murkborg look like Candyland.
That's fun.
Oh,
That's
it
gonna be exciting.
is. It is. And you've got a very similar view to clerics that I have, which is healing. I hate healing. Running 5e, healing was the bane of the tempo of a fight. You'd be going great, and then big heal goes off, it all resets, and yeah. So could you just, for anybody who doesn't know, the Battle Nun is your kind of replacement cleric. Could you talk about the Battle Nun? Because I found this quite fascinating.
The Battle Nun, they take a vow to essentially be a martyr in battle, and they can heal a little bit, but they do it with I think it's standard healing. Like they can stitch you up a little bit, put some healing salves on you and stuff like that, and I think they can create an aura of protection from evil, and they get to smite things that are evil, but they really don't want to heal things so much as kill the things that are evil and become a martyr. That's another thing that I want to get away from. Tropes I want to get away from is, these characters are supposed to be heroes, but they do things like, what's the radius of that spell? Well, I wanna put can I cast a spell, but then, step back so I don't get hit with a spell? They're all trying to figure out how to game the system and live.
Right.
Whereas in Deathbringer, you get rewarded for charging forward and actually attacking things. You can get experience points for not making plans. That's one of the things you get experience points, not making complex plans.
Hey, that's right up my alley.
just taking the plot hook, instant experience points. You're going to when you roll a character, you're not allowed to re-roll hit points on first level. If you get a 1 or a 2, you're that's how many hit points you have. But you're going to gain extra experience points for playing that character and trying to live.
That's fascinating.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I've done stuff like that before in third edition games back in the early 2000s. We had I had a player who just rolled really crappy, and we always had the 46 drop the lowest automatic rerolls on ones, right? That was our house rule that we always followed. But I gave them the option to keep their low rolls, and this guy had a 6 intelligence or something like that, and a pretty low wisdom too. And he wanted to play. He played it just like the main protagonist in Sling Blade, Mr. Biscuits and Mustard. And so I gave him a boon. And when they would go to the tavern and he would start imbibing, his wisdom would start going through the roof. His intelligence would go up. His dexterity took a hit, but he went from being a blithering idiot to the smartest guy in the room. And I thought, and it was hilarious because I figured, he deserved that bonus for sticking with a character that had, a really, really, for lack of a better word, crappy de facto thing. So I love that concept.
Just again, this the brutality of the world is clearly going to come through in it, and in the kind of the kit version, you had the corruption mechanic in here too, for things with spellcasting or committing evil acts and stuff. Is something like that in this version as well?
Yes. Every
Okay.
time you do something evil, you gain a corruption point, and when you get 10, you are a monster. You've mutated. Either your mind or body is mutated into a monster, and the game master runs you. You're out of the game. It's as good as being dead.
Okay.
Cool.
I was going to ask that. There's a bunch more comments on here. Patty's Parlor liked your comment about heavy metal. He said you should reach out to them. They wanted some metal RPG content. Let's see. Edgelord King, buddy of mine, up in New York here, he said, my first Deathbringer character will be a witch hunter modeled after Captain Kronos.
Great film. Great movie.
Yeah. And then he followed that up with, I had Arturo Fuente, sun-grown on the patio and watched the sunset. So, let's see. A Torch Too Far, longtime lover of the Professor DM show. Hope you get a celebratory suit for the upcoming Deathbringer release. Total sucker for the chainmail bikinis too. New suit in the works, maybe. We'll see.
I actually don't own that many suits. I own one suit, and I own 2 sports coats. Well, three. This one I got off eBay. So I'm actually a minimalist, and for a guy that collects terrain and miniatures, I don't own many things. So my philosophy is just buy one good suit and make it blue, so you can wear a lot of different things with it.
Yeah.
You swap out the ties and the shirts, but I might get a new shirt.
Do you still have your vest of protection?
Yes, I was getting ready to ask that too.
I do. I have the vests of protection. They're made of wool. They are from Ireland, and I'm not wearing them now because it's summertime.
Sure.
So they'll come back when winter comes out. That's when more people watch Dungeoncraft, and I get more abusive comments anyway. Like during the summer, my views generally track lower because all of my viewers are out having vacation, and they're on holiday. They're at Disney World or wherever for the summer, and views perk up in like October, and they spike like in the spring, and that's when people really just hurl tons of abusive comments, and that's where I'll put the vest of protection back on.
Sure. Well, I know. I'm sure Dean has some more questions about the campaign here, but I did want to just take a brief segue into your channel, and you mentioned crafting. That you do a lot of that. I personally, this was, I don't know, I'm guessing somewhere in the lockdown days, or maybe a little after that. I watched a lot of your crafting videos and actually use your techniques for making terrain and such. So I greatly enjoyed that, and I know that your main channel on YouTube is not really focusing on that anymore, but all of your content is still there as far as I know, and I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to get into building terrain. It's a lot of fun, kind of you're actually building something with your own little hands, and you provide great techniques that someone. I think anyone can do. I don't want to say just for beginners because you produce some very nice stuff, but it's a great way to get into it. So I just wanted to highlight that. But the other thing related to that is the ultimate dungeon terrain. I saw somewhere, I couldn't find it today, but are you doing something with ultimate dungeon terrain in regards to this campaign, or is that something else that I'm thinking of?
Absolutely. It is included at the different pledge levels. It's included. So ultimate dungeon terrain is a 3 zone piece of terrain, and this is going to be made of neoprene. right? So you'd be able to roll it up, put it in a backpack, you put it on a Lazy Susan, and you can run a game. You put the players, the miniatures, their players' miniatures in the center, and then you build up the terrain around them. So you don't have to build out, cover your entire dining room table, or with a dungeon. You put them in the middle and put the dungeon around them, and then you take it away, and it's easy to clean up and it's easy to store. And for many years, I had these tutorials on how to make different versions of Ultimate Dungeon Terrain, and now you will just be able to buy it, and it's based on the one that I painted, so it'll look like mine.
Very cool.
And so for people who can't craft, or you don't want to spend the, I don't know, the $200 it's going to cost in tools to start that, you could just
We
get it.
can't talk about that. Don't talk about that. My wife's sitting in the room over here.
Well, what my wife says is, well, you're not at Torpedoes. That's our local gentleman's club. That's how she justifies my spending on games. Well, he's not at Torpedoes. He just likes little paints and brushes.
There was a question that I just saw that popped in here, was asking about a sample adventure, and it actually is on my little scratch pad here. It looks like you had a whole bunch of folks that put in for some adventures. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So the sample adventure that will be included with the book is called The Fungus Licking Cannibal Cult. And
Okay.
there's going to be a tutorial on, I just wrapped a tutorial. It's going to go on Backerkit probably later this week, and it'll show you the final encounter and how I run it. And it's an encounter I designed myself, and that will come with the book. I'm also working on another scenario called The Leaning Tower of Death, which I just had an episode about. It's made out of a Jenga tower.
Yeah, I
But
love that.
I also invited all my friends, from
Oh, Kelsey?
Runehammer.
Yeah,
Kelsey, right?
Yeah.
Kelsey. And we were talking about her scenario. She's going to be doing a live. She's going to create the scenario live actually on Tuesday. That's how she's celebrating
Putting her.
Deathbringer. She's going to do a live creation of her game on Arcane Library. That's Tuesday.
Right.
But Hanker Fernale, Brandish Gillum, who also wrote Deathbringer, he wrote a draft of Deathbringer, and he's got a scenario. Justin Alexander of the Alexandrian blog, and So You Want to Be a Game Master, Baron DeRop, Bob World Builder, and I'm forgetting someone because there's so many people. I think
DM
Ted
Scotty is on here.
DM Scotty, yeah, he's
Grace
doing it.
and Bob.
Grace and Bob, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like everybody I know, I invited them to write a scenario, and just about all of them said yes.
That's awesome.
So I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful that all the years of making friends with these people and supporting their work. They're doing scenarios for me as well, and I really let them just go all ham and just do it the way they want to do it, because they're extremely creative people. When you have really creative people, you just let them do whatever they're going to do and trust that it's going to be cool. And so I'm really excited. I have not read the scenarios, but I was told by the publisher that Brandish Gillum's really good. So, and he did, of course, Crown and Skull and Index Card RPG, and so he's fantastic. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what people do with them. I'm very excited about it.
All right. Now, there's a question that I kind of had alluded to before we went live from a couple of people. It was wondering if you're going to be running Deathbringer at any upcoming conventions. And one of the other questions was, any chance of you coming to CNYCon next year? I was mentioning that to you, which I went to both CNY and North Texas. So what's on your agenda?
Oof. Well, that's a big one. Well, let's talk about Wednesday, because there's still a ticket left. If you go to Runehammer, I'm going to be running Deathbringer on Wednesday.
Okay.
And it is going to be a debut of the Fungus Licking Cannibal Cult. It is the world premiere after the Kickstarter has started, right? And it's going to be a celebration of either me never going back to school or begging for my job back.
Right.
And we're gonna do it. There's a game room there called the Octagon. It's located behind a secret door, and I'm gonna run the Fungus Licking Cannibal Cult for 6 people. There is 1 ticket left, so that's if you live in anywhere in the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Philadelphia area, you could play with me on Wednesday night. I'm going to be there at 6:00, and then Gen Con. We're going to have a Friday morning. There's a live Deathbringer event. It's an hour and a half long, and I start out by running. I'm going to pull people up from the audience, and I'm going to have audience participation, and we're going to run a scenario. And as people die, I'll kick them back into the audience and pull other people up. And we'll do that for about a half an hour or so, and then we're going to play the game. And then when we go to smaller conventions, like I'm going to be at Mason, North Carolina. I'm going to be at the Pittsburgh Area Gaming Convention. That's
Page,
in
yeah.
PGX.
Oh, PGX. Okay.
PGX. I'm going to be there in October. I'm going to be in November. I'm going to be in North Carolina at Mace. No, it's not called Mace anymore.
That's not Mythicon. No.
Mythicon. It's called Mythicon.
You're going to be at the one in Charlotte then.
Yeah, the one in Charlotte, and then I'm going to be at PAX Unplugged, and then I'm going to be at Page, the Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo. That's just between now and yeah, they're a great convention. That's just now in January. All right, so I'm going to be CNY is when? That was just like recently, right?
CNY, yeah. CNY is in June. It's the week after North Texas. So you have North Texas like the first weekend, I think, of June, and then CNY is like the second. But I don't know proximity wise, but CNY might be reasonable to drive. I know some people from like New York City and from Pennsylvania that drove up to there.
Where's it located?
It's in Utica, New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll write that down and we'll see.
It's between Rochester and Buffalo is where that's at.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
a hike.
yeah. Buffalo's a hike, yeah, but that's like an hour, I think, east of Buffalo. So
but I'm going to be running at a lot of conventions. At smaller conventions, I actually run it more. I was just one in Vineland, New Jersey, and I ran Deathbringer for 10 hours.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's the smaller conventions where you can actually meet me and we'll play a game together. That's your guarantee. You know, the Gen Con, I have a bunch of events that I'm going to be participating in.
Sure.
We have that Deathbringer event, and that's a way to get. It's almost like Tracy Hickman's Killer Dungeon, if you remember those from Gen Con, where I'm just playing with a whole bunch of people, and that's a way to get a lot of people to play in this area because with Gen Con, there's so many people I can't play with them all, but in these smaller conventions. I'll run 4, 5, 6 people every couple of hours for about 10 hours, 12 hours, and I may do it over a couple of days. So those are the best chances to meet me, and my schedule is always up on Patreon and the Deathbringer official site on Facebook.
Yeah.
So if people want to meet me, it's better at a smaller convention. And then a lot of times, at the end of the day, I take you out for a beer.
Well, I'll happily buy you one if you do come to CNY, and I'm sure I know a lot of other folks that would as well.
Drink for free all weekend.
Yeah, you won't have to buy it if you want. I mean, you know how cons are. There's lots of alcohol everywhere, but the facility's really nice, and I was crazy. I drove up from East Tennessee. It took us a while. My wife and I both went to that, but we're already in for next year, and I'd like to go to North Texas if I can, but I would highly recommend Roger Rebus is the guy who does that. So he is an awesome fellow. He's a good buddy of mine. He's been helping me because I'm working on creating a con down here, and I've been consulting with him. Of course, ShireCon. I don't know how close you are to ShireCon. That's another good one.
Very, very close. See that's more likely because my good buddy Eric Tenkar always goes. He always invites
Yes.
me to ShireCon, and I can never go because it's like the first week of school.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And for a teacher, the month of September is what the month of April is to a tax to
Yeah.
a tax
Mhm.
account.
Right. Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore, right?
We'll see.
We'll see. Well, it would be awesome, awesome to get the opportunity to meet you. I might have to go over to Mythicon. So there's two of them. There's one like in February that's in Asheville, North Carolina,
Right.
which is about 3-hour drive from me.
Yeah, I do the Charlotte one.
The Charlotte one is, I think, the bigger one, the parent one, and then they do MythicCon West. But we've only got a few minutes left with you. I know we're quickly running out of time, but what's there's a couple of items on here, Cam, that you wanted to know about the focus of the channel, the Dungeoncraft channel. I personally think, and I think I even commented in the comments, I think what you're doing is courageous, bold, and I love it. But what say you about that?
Well, I always make the episodes that interest me. Whatever I'm interested in at that moment, that's what I'm going to make. And I appreciate you being a patron, right? Because patrons, I mean, I always listen carefully what the patrons said, and the patrons very different than the general audiences. Very very different audience. Like the patrons really love my campaign updates. They like see me planning games and you can also watch me play with my game group on there. Like the patrons seem to like that stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas the trend on YouTube is you say something negative about Dungeons and Dragons and everyone piles in,
Mhm.
and I can't make that video every single week because they don't do something terrible every week. That's just one, that's like, but that is definitely the trend on YouTube. You have
And
to get these views.
yeah,
Like if you don't get like 10,000 views in an hour, they're just going to bury your video, and they're not going to show it to even your subscribers.
right.
And that's why you see so much negativity when it comes to, it's not just Dungeons and Dragons, it's like everything.
Right.
Everything gets negative.
It's almost like the whole we used to hear, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yes,
It's kind of that same
exactly true.
mentality. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And it
exactly
gets
true.
old and it's draining, just constantly have to complain about all the bad stuff other people are doing. And it's like, I'll mention it and then I'm like, okay, because I had Luke Gygax on and he was a delightful person to have on. And I have the utmost hope that Dan Ayub does a good job. I'm afraid that the corporate level above him is not going to let things happen the way that we all hope it does. So, but Cam, Dean, any other last minute questions for him that you guys would like to bring up?
Yeah, Dean, you got
I
a lot of them, right?
have. I know time is pressing, but your classes are very interesting in that they seem to have a lore, they've got a reason, the way they interact with each other is really fascinating. So within this book, I get this book, what kind of lore information will I find out? What's in there about your world to allow me to create adventures in that world?
Well, I have an adventure generator, right, where you just toss dice and it'll give you a location and it gives an enemy and something that the characters are trying to get. So it is, I think it's called, what did I call it? It might be called the Bone Grinder, where you just toss a bunch of dice and it comes up with an adventure for you, right? Because I think the game masters, they focus way too much on plotting these things out. It's always the same plot. You got to get a thing. You got to destroy the thing or get the thing before the bad guys get the thing.
Right.
Alfred Hitchcock called it a MacGuffin,
Yeah.
and it could be the Ark of the Covenant or a wand or a lightsaber or whatever. But you got to go into this dangerous location, and then there are enemies, and there's some sort of time limit. That's every single adventure ever made. So that is my primary tool for creating adventures, and really good advice, game master advice, that it's a distillation of everything from all my episodes of Dungeoncraft, where you know that the plot is almost incidental, because as we mentioned with those young people playing the game, you know, you get a bunch of 13-year-olds in a dungeon, they're not going to play a pen. They don't care about the plot. You know, I mean, they're going to go and cause havoc. So it's going to be a lot of tools. It is a toolkit, and the lore is very. It's like Mjörkborg, where the lore is right in the charts.
Right.
Like I don't have to describe. Do we really need to know the background? 10 pages of background of Pittsburgh. You know, you just say the town is called Pittsburgh.
I love
The
the
game
name of
master
that.
knows how to describe it. You know,
Yeah.
My wife is from Pennsylvania. She's from Wilkes-Barre. So her dad had names for both Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So that were slang terms that you probably heard. But at any rate, well, you know, everybody seems to be eager. The QR code should take you to deathbringer.com, which will take you directly to the Backerkit. And I see Flint is in there. He was the one I was telling you about with the teen or the preteen girls that being the most vicious ever. But I will look forward to seeing you. Hopefully, we'll get to see you when you're down here again in the Knoxville area. And maybe I'll make a special trip out to Charlotte. What do you think, Jeanette? Want to go out to Charlotte?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey.
But we do appreciate you so much coming out here and joining us, and we would love to have you back anytime. We wish you the most success, Dean. Anything you'd like to say?
Oh no, just it's I understand how
Really?
nerve-wracking it is, but do you know, I think you're going to do great, and I'll definitely be supporting you. So thank you so much for bringing this to us. You know, and the idea of that, you know, being able to create your own adventures, couple of dice rolling. Oh, that sounds fascinating for those games where you just want to get around the table and you want to start playing quick and just have something to dive into. Sounds fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
Cam?
thank you so much.
I'll just say thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy your channel. Everyone should go watch it, and everyone should check out Deathbringer in 36 hours.
Yeah. So with that, I'll go ahead and we know your time is pressing, and we don't want to keep you up too late. You've got a big day coming up here in next. Wait, what is it? Hold on, I'll give you an update. It is 1 day, 12 hours, and little couple of minutes. So we're gonna go all in, I'm sure, and we hope everybody goes and checks it out, and looks like everybody's excited for this, dude. We wish you so much success. If you don't mind sticking around, I'm gonna go ahead and roll the credits, and we'll have a wrap up after that. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Take care.
Thank you.
Good night.